So I am sending a request, or I'm approving your request. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi. How are you?
Supreme, how you doing?
Oh, I am grateful and focused. Thank you for coming on. I love your dreads, my fellow dreadhead, huh?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine.
Okay. Are you able to turn your volume up just a little bit for me?
Um,
On your phone or laptop?
I just have to get closer.
Okay.
Can you hear me a little better?
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I got all kind of mics. I wanted to set up my other thing, but I don't know how to set it up, so this I have to do.
That's okay. We'll work with it. So you are in Southern California. You
San Diego.
have an incredible resume. You're a freelance activist. You're a father.
Right,
You
videographer.
Photographer.
Right.
Yes.
Media
I
person.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you for joining me tonight and spending your time and space with me. I appreciate you being able to share your story with us.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about your videographer stuff and all the awesome things that you do.
Okay, well, if we starting with the video thing, so I've been in the video, photography, cameras, all those things since last year February, and I have a platform. It's called Black Division. That's basically, or if y'all can see it, it's basically it's local Black media that's focused on giving us a voice and getting coverage on the things that are happening that are Black in this city. Because there's plenty of Black people in San Diego, but a lot of people don't know the things that are going on, and it's a big military town, so sometimes Black people come from places like Memphis and other places, and they don't know what's Black and is going on. And I wanted to, and I know there's a bunch of stuff going on, so I'm like, look, let's cover the things that are going on and give people the opportunity to get some shine and kind of know that Black things are going on. So I've been doing media with that, and then just naturally people see my work, so I started to do, different like corporate videos, photography mainly for my page, and just all different type of video work. So
Nice. How did you get into that? I'm always curious about photography.
well, I didn't see the thing about me. A lot of people, I didn't want to do videography, photography, or anything. I just said Black people need media, because my biggest thing is Black people need self-independence. So if we're going to be independent and have our own self-determination, we need to be able to cover all facets of what we need. Media is the biggest thing that we can get to, because most of the things, like anything that Black people need to do, they're doing it already. People are like, oh man, Black men out here scared, they don't want to do this, they don't want to put it online. But it's like, I open up my news and I could read there's a Black man in the Army diving on a grenade so the rest of his team don't die. Or you could open it up and you see there's a brother in a gang that'll go out and put his life on the line for a set or whatever it is. So we have, and those are just a couple examples. There's everything else, right? We're doing it, but we're not doing it for the right reasons. So if we're doing these things, that shows we have the capability. The only thing we're missing is the mentality. Okay, so what's the best place that we can get people's mentality right is if we use media to change their mentality or put different thoughts in their mind, and maybe they'll die for their own independence. Maybe they'll die for their people, opposed to dying for what I would consider the wrong reasons. So I said, look, we need media. As soon as I realized we need media, I'm like, look, I probably need to get a camera. I can start a media page. I can cover things that are going on in San Diego to solve the problem that you mentioned earlier, and just try to impact where I don't like that word, but just do my best to impact right here where I live. As soon as I got the camera, I started doing a little bit, and then I found a passion for it and fell in love with it, and it's a lot of fun. It's just something I do a lot. So that was really how I got in. I got in to get freedom. That was the whole point. It just found something I love.
Well, I definitely appreciate it. I think it's certainly in alignment with the platform that I have, as far as like showing the Black man in a positive light. And
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because I personally believe that we need to be seen in a different light in order for us to believe that we can be in a different light. You know what I mean? Like if all we're seeing is like, you know, the gangsters and the drug dealers and the rappers and the athletes, right?
Right. Yeah.
We don't see the photographer that's changing the community in San Diego. We don't see people like you that's out there that's trying to capture those awesome moments of other Black people doing great things for their community too. So if we don't see those things, it's hard for us to even know that they exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is more important. I mean, this is excellent what you're doing right here. You know, this is what we need. I mean, people, this is more important than Black Panther to me right here, what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people are just like, because you're doing it. You made the choice to do it. This is Black independence. This is Black self-determination. This is you taking the initiative to make a change. And that is more important than what we respond to that comes out of the system that's oppressing us. And even if it wasn't oppressing us, we're not initiating those actions. So you initiating this is one of the most important things. And then on top of you taking initiative, this is something that's really important, because the average Black man doesn't really get a lot of, like you said, a lot of shine. It's always some type of, you know, just some weird athletic rapper, something like that. So the average person doesn't get a lot of shine. So it's great that you do this.
I love how we're just diving right into the meat of the conversation so fast. I love it. Just to slow it down a little bit, I was thinking about the whole controversy around Bruno Mars. I don't know if you heard about it. Bruno Mars is being shown as like cultural appropriation, which he's like taking the Black music and he's showcasing it for himself, and it's being, you know, received more so than if a Black person was singing his lyrics. What are your thoughts about that, and how do you feel about, you know, how other cultures can take our music and just kind of run with it and get more play?
Well, there's cultural appropriation. Is hard for me to really understand what people mean by that. My grasp on cultural appropriation, where I felt that it was relevant to me, was Black people come up with a culture. Black people here in America come up with a culture, but we're oppressed here, and they own, and white people in this country own all the medians of, all the media. So they downplay it when we do it. They use that power, that racist power, to downplay it when we do it. Then they come out and then like they're doing it and take the credit. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's a really viable complaint. You know what I mean? It's like, look, we don't have a voice because you have all the media. Then you broadcast to the world like you did something, right? This is with white people usually. So Bruno Mars is not white. To my knowledge, he's not white, and I think he's from Puerto Rico. I guess they pointed out that he's not Black, huh?
I don't know either. I just know.
Yeah, well, they say one of his parents indigenous, the other one is Jewish or whatever. So I'm like, whatever. I'll accept that he's not Black, but the thing is, cultural exchange happens. Cultural exchange has happened since the beginning of time. So we can't expect for cultural exchange not to happen. So if we come up with something and then other people come in and we allow them to come in, and then when they start doing good, we're going to cry cultural appropriation. You know, that's my only issue with it. I'm going to say this. If people said, look, we don't want anybody doing anything and eating off of none of our stuff, and we took it across the board, though. So don't just wait until somebody gets too successful, and then all of a sudden you got a problem with it. Just say, no. This is Black. We keeping all of our Black things Black, from my labor, from my culture, my art, and the efforts and energy that I put. If it ran concurrent with an overall plan to say, look, we need to keep things that are ours, then I could respect it and understand it more. But like from my opinion, it just kind of looks like jealousy of Bruno Mars. You know, I understand the cultural appropriation thing, but how do you holler cultural appropriation now? And you don't have a problem? It's like I don't see any efforts to try to get free and get from under the economic oppression that you're under. You know, I don't see. It's like, where's the issues and other things? So it's like, okay, Bruno Mars is a cultural appropriation, but every piece of music that exists is Black music. It's all rooted in our music, all rooted in the blues. It's all rooted in Black music. So why is it an issue all of a sudden, Bruno Mars? You know what I mean? So I see hypocrisy is basically what I'm saying. But if you go across the board, you're good with me. Other than that, my judgment on is that a majority of that is jealousy.
I agree.
And I ain't sticking up for Bruno Mars. I know it probably seems, I don't care about Bruno Mars. I mean, like I said, if the dude's not black, it ain't my business. I don't, whatever. You could hate on Bruno Mars all you want. I don't really care. But my thing is we got to get some consistency and take that energy and like not just complain, fix the problem. And you don't fix the problem necessarily by tearing down Bruno Mars alone. You know, you take that and make it go across the board with that attitude and say, look, we need everything that's ours to be ours. We need to own everything that we created. And we need to benefit from all of that. Take that attitude and do more than just complain. You know, that's all. That's my take on it.
No, for sure. I'm totally in agreement. I know a lot of people don't always agree with your perspective and your approach, but I do because, and I hear the frustration and I hear kind of like the pain, you know what I'm saying? The underlying pain that you may have as far as our people are concerned. Like we only cry, you know, when other people are getting the respect that we think we should be getting, but they shouldn't even been in our seats in the first place. Yeah, you know what I mean? And we kind of just like gave our seats away and now we're crying that somebody's in our seat.
Right.
And I, you know, I'll be honest with you. I just saw Black Panther on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
For the first time.
Okay.
And I know it was a hot topic. And when you think about like the buying power, the black dollar, the power of it, apparently it made over $500 million in its first like 2 to 3 opening weekends, $500 million. Yeah. We all know that it wasn't.
I think it's crossed $1 billion.
Was it more?
It's no. At first, that's what it made. But I'm saying, I believe it. I seen an article that it's crossed $1 billion now.
Wow. And so what do you think, like how powerful would it be if we took that buying power and we did what we talk about here, we make our own and we don't allow other people to kind of take it from us. We leave it in our communities. How powerful would that be?
Yeah, so I went to see Black Panther. I've seen it a couple times. I saw it with my daughter, and I don't have an issue with people seeing it. I caught a lot of backlash on the Black Panther, and I'm going to answer your question. I caught a lot of backlash on the Black Panther thing because I kept pointing out to people that Black Panther was a white movie. Okay, all the buzz, all the attention, all the money, this is coming from white efforts, white money, and something that they produced. Am I saying that we shouldn't see these movies or do any of that and keep our money? I mean, now that would be great. You know what I mean? That would be great. I don't know how realistic it is. It's something we could work toward. But much rather, I would say, let's focus on making our own movies. You know, make your own movies, and you know, it should be like I said. You can enjoy Black Panther all you want, but it should do something to your pride or your soul or whatever to see they got this big of a reaction out of Black people and you don't have a way to get that reaction. That should shake you up. Like, look, white people shouldn't be the ones to get your people together like that. It shouldn't take white people. Everybody's like, oh, look at all the Black unity. It's like, look, a white person had to do this. So I would say, you know, we should more look at that. Like, why is it that a white person has to do that? And let's figure out a way that we can get that type of energy ourselves, you know? And you said keep it in the community. I mean, that would be great to keep it in the community also. Like I said, if we could get it to where we can make our own movies and do those kind of things ourselves, like I pointed out, if you look, I don't know if you've ever been, like someone's ever came to your town to do a lecture, like Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, Boyce Watkins, these guys.
Boyce Watkins, but I missed it, yeah. But
right, but the point I'm making is that these guys, they do these lecture tours where they go all around the country to different spots. And they promote it, and people come and they watch them do their lectures. And a lot of money is passed around. This economic, 100% Black economic setup. So if they can do lecture circuits where they go around and people come out to watch them give lectures, we can do movie circuits where we can show movies and promote movies. We could even run it together with that. So it's like, hey, we got Tariq Nasheed coming into town. Before his lecture, we're going to show a couple short films. We could get people going to where we can build our own type of economy. The infrastructure is there. If we don't think about what we lack and think about what we do have, the infrastructure is there. So it's like we just have to have the urgency to think like how you're thinking and what you said. It's like, look, how can we get these things going? Why do we want to just give our money to white people? It's a movie. You know that movie was hot because black people wrote, produced, and all that. Black people made that damn movie. So let's cut the white person out, you know? But yeah, that's my opinion. You know, like I said, I watch white movies, you know, and I don't, you know, if we had our own nation, which is what I want, and we'll probably get to that at a point, I would still probably watch them, you know? I would just do my best to make sure if you're going to use my story or anything, that we can benefit from it as much as possible every time you do something, you know?
And I mean, shoot, everybody else is benefiting from their own stories. Why do we feel like apologetic when we ask for what we fucking deserve?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. That's like low. It's like a low self-esteem kind of thing almost. It's like, yeah. I agree with you. We should feel.
So, you know, we jump right into the meat. I failed to ask you the beginning question, which is, tell me a little bit about the last 10 years of your life. Take me on a journey. Give me some crossroads. Yeah, give me some significant events, if you may, please.
Well, like I said, I have a 9-year-old daughter. So 10 years ago, I was in college. I was in college, I think, out here in junior college before I got a scholarship. I moved to El Paso, Texas, and that's where I went to college. I got a scholarship to play ball out there. When my daughter was born, that's when, you know, like all this red, black, and green, African pride, all this stuff, I hadn't discovered that until, you know, my daughter was on the way. That's when I kind of started to read things. I started listening to Khalid Muhammad. That's when I started like my consciousness journey, you know. And then when I left there, me and my daughter's mom split up, but I continued to go into college. I spent more time reading books like outside of class, you know, than really what I was doing in class. I finished, I graduated. I got a job as assistant manager at Target. I was working that. I said I wanted to work that for a couple years and see if I could promote to the 6-figure spot. If not, you know, I was going to move on. But I started working in El Paso. My daughter was here with her mother. I visited her all the time, and she visited until we split, and I would just visit. And I came back. You know, I came back still working for Target. I hated it, by the way. I always hated working under white people. Always hate that. And I'm glad, you know, I don't have to do it right now. But I hated it. But like I said, I did that. And I came back, like I said, and I got back here. Eventually left Target. When I left there, let me see. I left there, you know, I didn't really get another good solid gig. I was struggling for a little bit. You know, money ran out. I was like kind of bouncing around, sleeping in my car, kind of couch surfing for a little bit. And and like I said, I was struggling. And eventually, oh man, I can tell you one big thing that happened to me. I ended up in that struggle. I finally found a way. I got a couple of jobs. I got one job working with like special needs children at an elementary school. Then at the same time, so I was working special needs elementary school. Then I was working a little manager spot at Family Dollar, which is like a little dollar store out here. I don't know if y'all got them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would go from there. Then I would come straight over to Family Dollar, and then, you know, in the middle of the time between that, and I got 50-50 custody of my daughter at this time, I would take care of her, and then I would drive Uber all the rest of the times that I could, still sleeping in my car, you know, sometimes sleeping at, you know, people's house, kind of like that. And I finally had stacked up some money. I was like, oh, cool, I'm about to get out, bang, I'm going to get my down payment, blah, blah, blah. And then I literally, I went to jail for nothing. Like, it's in the paper. It's in the paper. It's people were protesting at my court date, everything. I got pulled over for they said it's so-called for a brake light, and you know, it was dark in the street where I was at, so I rolled down the hill and pulled into the gas station just so, you know, that there could be lighting. I think this was about 3 years ago. As a matter of fact, we're just passing when they dropped the court. We actually went to court, but I went to jail for 18 days. Every single day, like, people think 18 days is short, but every single day I was thinking I was going to get out because I know I didn't do anything, you know. But I ended up having to stay in there. I stayed in there for 18 days. I lost one of my jobs. I lost all those wages. Then they impounded my car, and I had to pay for 18 days worth of my car being impounded. Wow. So I lost all my money. I had to borrow money. I came out. All my hopes to get a spot was gone. You know, one of my jobs is gone. And then the job at the school, the principal school, she finally got me back onto that one. But it like pretty much it messed up everything that I was doing, man. It messed up everything I was doing. Like I said, if y'all want to read the story better, just Google my name. Just Google Tori Robinson, San Diego. The black newspaper out here, the Voice and Viewpoint, wrote an article. And then when people were protesting, it was all like it was on the news. There's some ABC News stories and stuff. But yeah, so that happened, and after that, you know, I was still doing work, you know, just kind of just community stuff, community work, and I wasn't telling anybody. I was sleeping in my car. I wasn't telling anybody that like my car was packed with stuff from the front and the back to where when my daughter got in, I had to scoot over all my clothes and stuff my trunk a little bit more just so she could get in. And we would go. My parents live an hour north in Marietta, so I couldn't like stay with them. They lived an hour from me, you know, and I didn't have gas like that. So like when I had her, I would go up there. We would drive up there, and you know, because she needs somewhere to sleep, and then we just get up real early and I bring her back to school. But after doing that, somebody I was doing community work with actually noticed somehow my situation. I didn't tell them. I don't know how they found out. And when they figured that out, they actually gave me a place to stay. So I was staying with their grandmother, actually, Grammy. She's like a real well-respected person in the community too. And I was staying there for a while. I got another job, and pretty much started working that and just saved up, and then I was able to get out of there a couple of years ago, you know. And ever since that happened, I spent some time just kind of going around, being as active and involved in whatever things that I can make, and got the idea to do the media. And over the last year, that's been like the main thing I've been doing: camera work, media work, covering events, doing things like that, and learning my craft and doing a lot of videography work.
Wow, Brother Tori, you've been through it.
Yeah, it's cool.
You sit here with a smile on your face after all of that.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
Here.
And it's good. Huh?
What do you contribute to like your strength and your energy to be able to smile after all that?
Well, I was good. Like I said, I had I grew up, I had a really strong father, that taught me a lot of things, and it was crazy. You know how they say your parents are superheroes? He was always like, I never really seen him in no points of weakness. It seemed like he always had it, and I never really seen him down. And, it was hard for him seeing me struggle or whatever, but I feel like he instilled a lot of stuff in me. So definitely that. And even in the midst of like just being at the worst points, if you really believe in yourself, you know what I mean? Because it's like having a comfortable, so like I said, I got my own spot now. I got, everything, whatever I didn't have, I got it now. I'm doing good. I'm able to save a little bit of money each month. I'm able to buy a camera so I can even do media, because all this gear ain't cheap. You know what I mean? To get the product that I put out, it's not cheap. So, but I always knew none of that stuff made me. You know what I mean? Some people think it does, but none of that stuff makes me. You know what I mean? So I always believed in myself, and I always knew, like, it's just a matter of time before I would get back. Listen to other people. A lot of people, they'll tell you, like, hey, they'll talk about, like, great people who always had this big setback and this time when it was down. And I just figured, like, look, man, it was just my time, but I knew I would get out of it, But it's just rough, when you, especially when you're aware, of how things are. You're aware of the condition that we live in. You're aware that, man, it's a lot of brothers struggling, It ain't really set up for you like that. So that's kind of what helped me.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing your story, and I just want to honor your struggle, because you came out on the other side, and you're just a walk-in testimony that if you could do it, anybody can do it. There's no excuses. And
Right.
Yeah, we struggle as a people, but it doesn't mean that, we can't get in front of our lives and take control and let the past be the past and move forward. So I want to definitely thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are watching. I want you guys to be sure to click the share button. Be sure to tag someone. Be sure to leave a comment. Let us know that you guys stopped by. Say hello. We love the support. Understanding the Black man. Our why is because we want to change the way Black men are viewed in the media for the better. This Black man to my right here, he has went through hell and back but he was able to not only share custody with his daughter. So he was not only able to stand his daughter's life, right? He was also able to get back on his feet. He was working 2 jobs at one point. He was a freaking workaholic. He was a single parent, and he was getting shit done. And he didn't let a rock in his river of life stop him and make him sink. He took the time to regroup, and he got back on the saddle, and here he is right here keeping it moving. And we don't see these images, we don't hear these stories as much as we should in the media, which is why we're doing this platform, which is why I am demanding that we all share this video right now. So with that being said, let's get to our next question, which is kind of centered around the last part that we talked about. What are some of your challenges that you face as a Black man living in today's society?
I think the biggest challenge is basically we don't have anything structured for us, you know. So I feel like everywhere that we're going, every place that we're going, there's really nothing that's set up for us, you know. So it's like if you want to do film work or whatever, where's our Disney? Where are these things that you can fall into that are set up and for you? You know, because like even when I was on, like I told you, first of all, I hate working any type of corporate America. Anything working under white people, I can't stand. I never have. If you see me, if you listen to this and you was working with me, seen that big smile on my face, I was hating it. You know what I mean? So, but when you go out there, you know, there's really no place for you, you know, because there's ramifications to what you described earlier, saying that there's you're like, hey, well, all the images that are seen is like pimps, drug dealers, gangbanging, you know, some type of comic relief, some kind of comedian, whatever. Now, there's ramifications to those type of images, and as far as how other people view you. And because there's less people like you doing shows like this, some average dude that's not, you know, not out here gangbanging, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of people, if you don't really know Black people, you don't really, or you're Black and you get suckered by the media's images. You don't really know how to receive just a normal brother, you know? So I feel like there's nowhere really set up. So you graduate, because I don't know if I know, I did graduate from college. That assistant manager spot, like you can't get that at Target unless you graduate or whatever. But you end up around people who don't really understand you. Like people who are uncomfortable. Like I remember those chicks, she's like, well, he just makes me uncomfortable. It's like, why? I don't know. He just makes me uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, here you are. Y'all don't get to see how big I am, but I'm 6'4", like 300 pounds. And that's just intimidating to a lot of people. You know, I think that's really the biggest challenge. And then also too, it's tough on your morality. Like for me, I realized, look, I want to do things for my people. That's the only things that matter for me, right? Just similar to like some young white boy, 9/11 happens, he goes out, he says, you know what, I'm ready to go out, lay it on the line and die for my country, right? Where's my country? You know, I don't have one. So that's like the biggest challenge to me, and that manifests itself in any different sector of life that you want to go, you know, point by point and name. I think, yeah, I mean, I could probably mention a bunch of things, but I mean, I think that encompasses unless you got to follow up.
Yeah, I see why this platform is needed, because okay, I'll be honest with you. Like, I wasn't quite sure really what I wanted when I first started it. I just wanted to understand the Black man, because I had holes in my game, because I didn't grow up with the dad. And so I was like, well, let me just try, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like making excuses. But the deeper I get into it, and like when I interview, you know, brothers like yourself, and there's other brothers that are watching right now, I've interviewed them, or they have interviews coming up. The outcry, the outpouring of need for this just seems to be so much more apparent. And what we're looking for is hope. That's all I hear you saying. That's all I hear that we need is hope. And so this platform is, you know, hope for brothers like you and sisters, you know, like me, who just, we don't have that safe haven, like you said, to kind of just, you know, connect with one another, to gather resources, to feel heard, to feel connected with our own people, because we don't want to really feel connected with, you know, somebody else. We want to feel connected with somebody that looks like us. You look like me physically.
Yeah.
Physically, you look like me. We look like each other. And so I'm automatically going to gravitate towards you. And if I see an image of you, Brother Tory, that isn't quite right, that's going to make me feel not quite right in myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying fully. Yeah. That's big. I mean, listen, you can't, if your self-image is bad, you know, it's difficult for you to do things with and for your own people. You know, like you got a lot of people, it's like, hey, man, let's work on this black thing. They're like, man, black people ain't ish. You know what I mean? What am I going to do this for some black folks for? You know what I mean? For what? Such and such, Tyrone did this and this. He ain't never given my CD back. He blah, 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 blah. Whatever negativity, I'm trying to keep it mild. But you know what I mean? Whatever negativity that's in your mind. Or my favorite, all niggas do is this. All niggas do is that. You know what I mean? And a lot of that is being informed by the media images and the things that you're getting. So I think I agree with you. I think that is really important, you know?
Yeah. So, okay, I want to get a little deeper with you.
Good.
All right. So what are your thoughts about Black relationships, specifically like romantic relationships? And what do you think some of the things that we need to do to change?
Oh, man.
I know you did this.
Yeah, because, you know, man, you know, dang. I think a lot of the issues with Black relationships, for instance, let's go to marriage for a second, right? Marriage has been broken down to an individual problem because it's very marketable for me. Like if I market to an individual, I can get an individual to think there's an individual problem, sell them a product, and get their attention, to get them to follow me, to get tips and tricks for this individual problem that they have. But marriage is not an individual problem. Marriage is a community institution. And if you just go talk to your grandmama and them, all them people that actually stay together, right? When you talk to them, like for instance, I could talk to my dad and he say anything about marriage, you know, his moms and the people that come from the old school gonna be like, look, nah, you don't do that. You know, you don't do that. You have some people, like you ask older people, they still believe in the shotgun marriage concept. So where there's societal pressures and things that are keeping you together and giving you pressure not to break apart, right? And that's at the end when it's time to break apart. And there was also a process in the beginning. So now we live in a time where the societal view is, hey, whatever you do, you on your own, hey, do your thing, whatever, it's on you, it's your life and all of that, right? Opposed to older times when it was, okay, who is he? Did he have him come pick you up from over here so we can talk to him? Let's make this decision as a family because you're about to connect our two families. But when we've got this individual mindset of me, it's mine, you know, even though you're about to put our families together and put a kid in here that's my direct family member that you know you're going to be dropping off at my house. And I'm going to have to deal with whoever this guy is and the ramifications of that. So not to go on too long, I think that's the biggest issue that I'm qualified to really talk about as far as with relationships. I think if you don't care about the community, the relationships are going to follow suit with that, you know? So I think we need not just an individual thing like, hey, let me just finish this. Let me fix this individual problem that I have to get married. Let me fix this because I got to do this. I got to do that. But I think we need to take a more community approach and say, why is there no structure? Why is there no reason? Why do I even care if I get married? What is the you know what I mean? Why do we even care? If we ask a lot of people that very serious question from a community standpoint, I don't think we would get a constructive answer. So I think as far as relationships and things of that nature, I think that's our biggest problem. We have to find a community goal and reason that it's important and come to an agreement amongst men, women, older people that don't even date, that are in families that are influential in the people in the dating pool's life, have to come to an agreement on some form of structure, some form of ground rules, you know, something, man. Like a lot of us are anti-church, and I'm not big on the church and Christianity, these things, but we have to realize there's a void left when everything was, the church brought some form of structure. Everybody was not the same form of Christian, but it brought some form of structure to where when I got with someone, the rules of engagement were clear. You could get with someone now, the rules of engagement aren't even clear. You know, you think what you had was just a good night with somebody, and next thing you know, you on a Me Too thing 2 years from now. You know, the rules of engagement ain't clear. And I really think we need to reach toward community and not reach for self-help books and individual issues and problems. You know, that's my opinion.
I think that's one of the greatest answers that I've heard, you know, with that question so far. I really love how you go really deep and you really like unpack the full picture. And I really appreciate you saying that it does take a community for all of us to kind of get along. We all need each other to go, to grow, to know, to all those things. And so James, brother James is saying,
Yeah,
how is marriage a good deal for men? Legally, it's completely a bad idea.
Look, I didn't want to go that direction. I didn't want to go that direction, but I'm gonna go ahead and validate my brother. I agree with you 100%, bro. However, I never considered the white man's paperwork and all of that. I'm not even considering that. You know what I'm saying? As any validation of any marriage that I have, me and the sister have. You know, we got the sovereignty to make our own deals between us. But all that paperwork, now that's totally bad, because I think that is a problem. Since he brought it up, that is an issue. When we look at, she said, how is it bad deal? Well, here I am. I'm working. I'm getting into my career. I'm making money. I'm doing these things. Now, if I marry a woman, as soon as I sign that paper with her and that deal between her and the state, I've given up all this leverage for you to take all these assets and finances from me. So the incentives are not there. So now, as soon as I sign that deal, there's a financial incentive for that woman to divorce me, right? And I'm not saying she's going to divorce me just because. I'm just stating the fact. There's a financial incentive now, as well as soon as I have a child. You know, I didn't tell you about the child support blues, but you know, I don't pay them now. We good, all good now. But I'm just saying that as soon as I have a child, there's an incentive, financial, even more of a financial incentive, even if I don't marry her with the state. So there's a disincentive for anybody who thinks about that to get married. And I'll be lying to you if I didn't tell you this is in the back of my mind when I'm seeing a sister like, oh man, we could probably build. I'm thinking of all these disincentives to even go in that direction. So I agree with the brother. I think he's right. He said,
yeah, there was, thank you for answering that. They're kind of going back and forth with each other. So we're going to let them go ahead and go back and forth. It's good conversation. For the comments, if you guys have any comments about that topic, you know, is marriage a good deal for Black men and women? Leave it in the comment section. We'll review them later. Be sure to share this post while you're here, this video. Be sure to, you know, tag someone. Get the word out. This is what we're doing. Understanding the Black man, which is really understanding each other. And so my next question, Brother Torrey, is, okay, I'm scared, but I'm gonna just ask you, what is your take on interracial relationships, and how do you feel about Black men that only date outside of their race? Because, I have to clarify, because they don't like Black women.
Okay, so we'll start with the latter. Anyone who says that they don't date their own race specifically, and they're specifying that, in my opinion, has some type of issue. You know, anyone who does that, because what you're doing is, you know, there's all different types of Black person, and you're cutting them off before you even meet them, which, you know, you probably have some type of issue, right? Now, interracial dating in general, full disclosure, my daughter's mom is mixed. If you've seen her, she's light bright, but her family Black and all of that. So it's not like, you know, a white family over there. But just full disclosure for people to know. Now, my opinion on interracial dating is that I don't think we should do it. I think the goal and the standard that should be set in every single Black household and with every single Black child, whether they have a non-Black parent or not, should be to build the Black family, because that's most beneficial for us economically, and it creates the least confusion with the situation that we're in. And I don't think anything else should be promoted. However, I do think I don't believe in what a lot of people think as far as soon as you see someone in an interracial situation or any tie to it or anything like that, that they're no longer responsible to their community, or that we should not use these people anymore, and you know, they have no more allegiance to their community, and a expectation of allegiance to their community. It doesn't get thrown out the window with an interracial relationship. I think they still should be contributing, and I think they should be swaying their partner over to help us, and if anything, be an agent for us, for our people, and constructing their agenda to run in line with ours. Without, we're not letting no white boys and white females and all of that come up, and you get to be, I have a black boyfriend, so now I get to be the authority. No, I ain't no authority, right? You ain't nothing. It's just, you need to be working on behalf of this nation if you're going to be dating another person that's outside the nation, you know? So I believe in tolerance of these things, with tolerance, with stipulations, because it's going to happen. And we need those, all them mixed kids and all them soldiers. I need every one of them on this side. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are like, oh man, the white man used it against blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if the white man could use it against you, why can't you use him against the white man? You know what I mean? Don't give your power away. So that's basically, that's my opinion. I think, no, we need to build the black family. And that's the standard, that's the goal.
Yeah, you're very militant in a good way. I'm just letting you know. One of our comments, Sister Rose says, yes, and they're not respectful of the women that raised them and showed what hard work, love, and strength. And it goes on, but I can't really read the rest of it.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
No, what do you think about that?
Well, no. I like I said, I agree with that. Now, the issue I would have with it, I think we need to find a less superficial reason. Like I think earlier in the conversation you said, and I'm nothing against you or anyone who says it because it's valid, like a person who looks like me. I need to do things for people who look like me, and you do. However, the reasoning needs to go deeper. And the reasoning, see what I did my best to do there was give you a comprehensive, practical reasoning to why we need to be building the black family, right? It's a little bit more than just how you feel, because a lot of people are like, oh, you mess with them white girls and them white girls gonna do this and that. And then they get with a sister and she does this and that. Now what? You know what I'm saying? And it's the same vice versa. So it's like we gotta look a little deeper than reasons. Or like, someone said, well, your mom's black. It's like, all right, my mom is black, right? But it's like, I'm not necessarily looking only for what my mom is, or I may just take my mom and say, listen, I just need these particular characteristics that my mom had, and then I'll look for those to manifest in another person, whatever the color. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at the comprehensive, practical, community-based reasons for building a black family on top of the surface level, because you should be thinking about your mother and all these different things and all your family members or whatever, because if you're going out pushing just date whoever and all these different things, you got family members who they may be women. Like I said, I got a little sister, I got a daughter, little cousins, whatever. It's all females, in the teenage age of my family. So it's like, what about them? What about them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are about 10 minutes out. I want to get to some more questions. What's your take on single mothers raising black men, black boys? Do they have it hard? Are there some things that, some holes in their game they can work on? Any words of encouragement?
You is not about to get me attacked by single mothers. It's tough. The situation is not ideal. An ounce of prevention is more than a pound of cure. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing you brought up an instance earlier, as far as someone who just had a child young, I think we just need to kind of speak more on prevention. And it goes back to this community thing where we got to get together and come up with a plan, because the way things are set up right now with what he mentioned with marriage, with child support, and a social media server where people kind of have access to so many people and attention from so many different directions, and it's really difficult to like this. There's not the same need for marriage and kids that there was in the 1940s when there wasn't a bunch of households, there wasn't so much technology, the Industrial Revolution had just hit. Things are structured a bit differently, you know what I mean? So I just think we have to do our best planning families. That's really all I could say. I can't go too deep on the struggle of, you know, what single mothers could do. You know, like I said, I mean, you know, do your best to get them around masculine influence and appreciate that masculine influence. You know, don't just go out using brothers just because, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate these people, have some reciprocity. You know what I mean? If you're dropping them off and you like, look, I'm taking him to this football thing or this tutoring program because I know they need some masculine influence, man, do what you can do. Help out. You know, if you got some money, throw some money. If you can cook some stuff, cook it and bring it. Promote, help, support them brothers. Don't just go and use brothers because you can. You know, show some reciprocity. And I'm not saying that this is what sisters do in general. I'm just speaking to some of the concerns that I know come from brothers. It's like, man, you know, they just using me and this and that, and it's like no appreciation. You know, I'm not saying you got to date them. I'm not saying that, but just have reciprocity in your dealings with the people who you use as these surrogate masculine energies.
Yeah, I agree completely. Getting them around like a coach or someone, like you said, that's, you know, a community leader, just, or even just the neighbor next door who's just doing good, you know? We have our comment from Joshua, brother Joshua, saying they can raise women, black women can raise them to be good men, but they can't raise them by themselves to be whole men.
You need a man. He's 100% right. You need a man to raise a man. I mean, listen, the journey to manhood and the journey to womanhood is very different. Like you cannot become a man without taking a bunch of losses, looking at other men, seeing what they're doing, learning from them teaching you things, and them giving you what the journey of manhood is. A woman can't even understand a man's existence and vice versa. So you can't become a man without men. That's the period. You don't have to have your biological father to accomplish that, but you can't become a man without men.
Mm-hmm. And I asked that question not to get you in trouble or put you in the hot seat.
Yeah, man,
but because
you know that I ain't about to do that, man.
And no one's gonna like mess with you on this platform. They'll get kicked out of here so fast. But I asked that question. I know you can handle it, but because there's a lot of women, a lot of single mothers that view our shows, we got to be open and honest with them. You know, if they're raising a young black man, like what can they do with that young black man? They can't teach that, you know, they can't teach that young black boy to be a man. They can teach them how to treat a woman, but how do they teach them how to, you know, navigate as a black man in society? That's more so why I asked the question.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Like I said, I mean, you could get them around some good men, the best that you can, and just try to find a circle of some people who you can ask and get some advice from, and as far as what he's going through and things like that. You know, don't baby him and put him all up under your skirt. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have to be a man. He's gonna have to learn, but you know that's the best thing I can do. You know, or the best thing I can say is, you know, like I said, you get help the best you can. Don't be too easy on them, you know, show them love, but don't be too easy on them.
Yeah, Sister Rose is saying it takes a man to teach a boy how to become a man. Yeah, she's a single mother of 2 boys. She's tried to make sure that her sons are around positive role models. And so let's veer off that topic because we can go on and on. We can have a whole segment about that topic.
Right.
But unfortunately, we're going to run out of time here. So I have a question for you. What advice would you give your younger self? Now that you are, you know, of age, what advice would you give yourself 10 years ago?
10 years ago, man, I would tell myself, you know, I would say take all the health and, you know, health and fitness kind of things that I learned, I would say to apply them. Take everything you do more seriously. Like I said, I played ball. It was a lot of fun. I didn't take it as seriously. If I could have caught myself before I started school, I wouldn't have wasted a whole year of college. You know, I went to class, you know what I mean? and just took everything more serious. And I would have read books. I would have read way more books. I would start reading books and taking that seriously, especially while I had that time to be at college and kind of learn. You know, I played a lot of football, which takes a whole lot of time, but I still could have did some more reading. And I think I would have sharpened my skills and been a lot better off had I done that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like I said, I was like the hustle man. We didn't really talk about that. I was like the dude selling DVDs, CDs, Jordans, and you know what I mean. That was me. You know what I mean. Since middle school, since I started selling candy in the 6th grade, I was like that type of dude. So I would have took that more serious a little bit. You know, I would have had a different mentality. You know, be more business minded, try to make things bigger. That's what I'd have told myself.
I think you're doing it now, which is a good thing. Taking yourself more seriously. What advice would you tell your future self?
My future self? Man, I would just say, you know, you have a lot that you're doing it for. You got a lot of people looking at you. You got a lot of people depending on you. So just be sure to just stay strong, stay on your square. Keep your daughter. Your daughter has a lot of potential. Never ever stray too far away because you'd be cheating the community out of the magic that she has coming if you don't invest into her enough. And I was just telling myself, whatever it is I'm going to be doing, I know I'm going to be powerful. I know there's going to be people counting on me, and I know I'm going to be making an impact. So just stay strong and, you know, keep at it.
Yeah. Thank you. So tell us quickly, what projects are you currently working on? Because we're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes. Tell me about your
well, like I said, right now, I'm actually putting some stuff together, some Black Panther stuff, interviews, some stuff. We had a completely black event. Theaters were brought out. Only 100% black people came through. I'm going to release that on Black Division. You guys go to facebook.com/Black Division. We just did the Keepers of the Culture. We took a few elders that are like above 80, and they talked about some of them stuff. There was a brother talked about buying the first black man to buy a barbershop in San Diego. The only black African American museum in the city. These brothers, like, you sit around them for 2 minutes and they can't stop giving knowledge, you know. And we got a chance to capture that and put some of that together for an event that happened out here. But I put it up on the channel, so we had that. I got a documentary I may be doing soon, but I would just say stay tuned to Black Division. You know, go to facebook.com/Black Division and stay tuned there. And you can kind of see what's going on down here in San Diego. If you see something, you got ideas, reach out to me. If you come to San Diego, let me know. Shout out to Barry, too. I think he's up there with y'all. Barry's on Black Division. We interviewed him, and he gave out some good wisdom. So check us out at Black Division, facebook.com/Black Division.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, Barry was actually my very first interviewer. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you got some good content on him.
Yeah, I did. He's incredible. Yeah. And so you told us a little bit where we can find you. Is there anywhere else we can find you online, like your personal IG and all that?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Mufasa_Shabazz. I use it sometimes, but most of the time I'm on Facebook. But you go to Mufasa_Shabazz, and I mean that's pretty much it. Yeah, you just go there. Go to Facebook. I got kind of some lives where I do a little bit of talking. If you want to search through my videos. I got some stuff in there, and check out Black Division, and that's pretty much it. Okay,
and you'll be sure to leave the links and all that in the comment section when we're done.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up. I want to know any last words for our viewers who are listening. Words of encouragement.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like I said, I would say, you know, black people need self-independence. We need self-independence, self-determination. We need our own nation. So whatever it is that you're doing in your life, ask yourself, what are you doing? What is the end game of what you're doing for black people? What are you doing that contributes to your people? And if the answer is nothing, I would say do your best to divest from the white supremacist system that we're in and find a way to take your resources and the things you spend your time, energy, and efforts on and put them towards something that's black and something that's independent. My overall goal and where I think black people need, I think black Americans, the descendants of the enslaved here in this country are the only people that I can find that do not have a home nation. You got Chinatown because there's China. You got Little Poland because there's Poland. You got Koreatown because there's a Korea. Where's our black town? Where's our black identity and core? We need one. We need to have our own nation where we write the laws from top to bottom, not buying land under the permission of the white man that's been oppressing us. We need our own land where we write the Constitution and we can set the tone for who we are, what we do, and our own self-determination. So I would just say to do those things, examine what you're doing, and do your best to work towards self-determination and independence for your people.
Thank you so much for those words of encouragement. We need to hear it. We need to hear it, like, seriously. And we need to know that there are other people like you out there who think like that as well, because that's going to encourage others who listen to this video, if not today, maybe some day down the line. It'll encourage them to find that self-determination and to be okay with being black and wanting the best for our people. You know what I mean?
do this show, support this show too. This is a great show. This is a you know, whatever you can do, like shows like this, like you know, we gotta scale down. It's like, if it ain't Black Panther, it ain't good enough. Well, Black Panther ain't yours. It's less important of what it is and more important of whose it is. It's more important that the show is yours. This show that we on is yours. This is more important. Like you spend, like, with the stuff that's in your house is more important than the stuff other people got. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this person's dad may be rich, wealthy, whatever, but this your dad, this your show. This is more important than Black Panther, you know? Whatever's yours, that's the most important thing. Because if we don't put more focus on what's ours, we're gonna forever be doing this dance back and forth with white people. That we got to take the focus, and I'm sorry not to take you too far of your time.
Nope.
But we gotta, yeah, we gotta take the focus off of what our condition is and put the focus on our control over our condition, because they could change your condition, and then as soon as they see fit, because you have no power over your own destiny, they'll change your condition. So you'll spend all of the 70s, 80s, 90s getting affirmative action jobs, and everybody living cushy, getting employed by white people, not setting up any institutions of power for yourself and your people. And then when they decide to change things, when money get a little low, or they get some other immigrants, they set up another plan, all of a sudden they pull the rug from underneath you. You got to be in a position of strength, power. You control your destiny. You are in charge of what you do. You don't just sit around and just wonder, like, damn, how does water get here? You figure out how to set up water pipes and learn the technology and do that, and think about how to do that for your own nation, or at least understand what's going on. You know, control your destiny, man. Control your destiny.
Amen, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Control your destiny. I hope everyone heard it. I hope you guys receive it. I'm certainly receiving it. This has been a powerful interview. I appreciate just your energy and your spirit, your journey, your struggle, your love for yourself, right? Your love for your daughter, your love for your people, your love for your journey too. I really appreciate that so much. I can feel that energy. So thank you again, Brother Torrey, for coming on to our show.
Yeah, it was fun.
You have fun. Thank you. I have fun too. I hope that everybody loves this show. I hope that everybody comments. Make sure you share, like, tag, get the word out. Understand the Black man. We're changing our destiny. We are getting in front of our lives, like he said, and we are in control. So until next time, I'll see you guys next Thursday at 7 p.m. PST time. Until then, thank you, Brother Torrey. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye.
Peace.